When I told my parents that I was very excited and looking forward to my sister's wedding tomorrow, my mom replied, "It was last week." A month later, they begged to stay in the beach house. I said no. I'm Morgan Hartley, 32 years old, and I'm standing in my parents' kitchen in suburban Phoenix, clutching my sister's wedding invitation like it's a winning lottery ticket. The ivory cardstock feels heavy in my hands, expensive. My sister spared no expense for her big day. "Mom, I can't believe it's finally tomorrow," I say, practically bouncing on my heels. I've got my dress pressed, my speech memorized. I even practiced it in front of my bathroom mirror last night. My mother, Diane Hartley, freezes mid-sip of her coffee. The mug trembles slightly in her hand before she sets it down on the granite countertop with a sharp clink. She won't look at me. Her eyes dart toward the window, the refrigerator, anywhere but my face. "Morgan, sweetheart," she starts, and something about her tone makes my stomach drop. "The wedding, it was last Saturday." The words hit me like a physical blow. My chest constricts. The invitation slips from my fingers and smacks against the counter. I snatch it back up, my eyes scanning the elegant script for the date I've had circled on my calendar for months. September 14th. Tomorrow. It says tomorrow. What do you mean it was last Saturday? My voice comes out shaky, barely above a whisper. The invitation says the 14th. That's tomorrow. Mom's lips press into a thin line. She picks up a dish towel and starts wiping the already clean counter. We sent you the wrong date, honey. It was an honest mistake. The wedding already happened. It was lovely. My pulse thunders in my ears. An honest mistake. 7 days off isn't a typo. That's deliberate. That's calculated. I think about my family, Mom, Dad, my sister Brittany, and suddenly, everything clicks into place. The years I've spent being their personal ATM. The thousands of dollars I've poured into their lives while they treated me like an afterthought. My sister's business debts that I cleared without hesitation. The massive home repairs I funded for my parents. Every vacation I bankrolled while they conveniently forgot to invite me to family gatherings. My jaw clenches so hard my teeth ache. I won't cry. I refuse to give them that satisfaction. I won't beg for explanations or grovel for their affection. Something hardens inside me, crystallizing into cold, sharp clarity. They think they can use me as their backup plan and then toss me aside when it's convenient. They think I'm so desperate for their approval that I'll just swallow this betrayal and keep my mouth shut. They're about to learn they've made a serious miscalculation. An honest mistake, I repeat, my voice flat. I fold the invitation carefully and slip it into my purse. Right. Mom finally meets my eyes, and what I see there isn't guilt or remorse. It's relief. Relief that it's over, that the confrontation she's been dreading is nearly done. She actually looks grateful that I'm not making a scene. That relief is going to be short-lived. I walk out of that kitchen with my head held high, my mind already racing through possibilities. They wanted me gone from that wedding? Fine. They got their wish. But now they're going to find out what happens when you push someone too far. They built their comfortable lives on my generosity, my loyalty, my endless willingness to help. Now they're about to discover what happens when that foundation crumbles. Ever been stabbed in the back by the people who are supposed to love you most? The ones who should have your back no matter what? Drop your story in the comments. I have a feeling I'm not alone in this. That night, I sit in my downtown Phoenix loft, staring at that damned invitation. The air conditioning hums quietly, but I barely notice. Every swirl of calligraphy feels like it's mocking me, each elegant flourish a reminder that my own family orchestrated my exclusion from one of the most important days of my sister's life. How could they do this? Mom, Dad, Brittany, they planned this together. They sat down and made the conscious decision to lie to me. My mind spirals backward through the years, connecting dots I'd been too blind, or too desperate, to see before. 4 years ago, Brittany was 26 and full of big dreams. She'd just launched her boutique marketing agency, convinced she was going to take the Phoenix business scene by storm. Her office space was sleek, her website was gorgeous, and her confidence was sky high. Then her first major client pulled their contract 3 months in. Brittany had already hired 2 employees, signed a year-long office lease, and purchased thousands of dollars in equipment. She was staring down $35,000 in debt with no way to pay it. I got the phone call at 2 in the morning. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her words. Morgan, I'm ruined. Everything I worked for is gone. I don't know what to do. I didn't hesitate. I transferred the money the next morning. My emergency fund, my safety net, gone in an instant. Take your time paying me back, I told her. Focus on getting back on your feet. She never mentioned that money again. Not once. No thank you card, no acknowledgement, nothing. It was like it never happened. Then there was my parents' house. 3 summers ago, their ranch-style home in Scottsdale started falling apart. The roof leaked every time it rained, which in Arizona isn't often, but when it does rain, it pours. The foundation had cracks running through it like spider webs. The HVAC system was on its last legs. $45,000, Dad said when he called me, his voice heavy with defeat. The bank won't give us a loan. We've already mortgaged everything we can. If we don't fix this, we could lose the house. I'd been working as a senior project manager at a tech company for years, pulling 60-hour weeks, sacrificing my social life and relationships to build my career. I'd saved meticulously, invested carefully. I had the money. So I paid it. All of it. I watched my savings account drop by $45,000 in a single transaction, telling myself this was what family did. This was what love looked like. Dad mumbled something that might have been thank you. Mom just nodded, like I'd done the bare minimum expected of me. There was no relief in their faces, no gratitude. Just acceptance, like my money was theirs by default. After that, the invitations stopped coming. Their annual 4th of July barbecue, the one where half the neighborhood showed up with potato salad and beer? You're probably too busy with work, Mom would say, her tone just sharp enough to sting. Their Christmas open house, the one I used to help decorate every year? We're keeping it small this time, Brittany would text, even though I could see the Instagram photos of 40 people crammed into their living room. Last Thanksgiving was the breaking point I didn't recognize at the time. I'd driven 5 hours from a work conference in Las Vegas, fighting traffic the whole way, excited to spend the holiday with my family. When I pulled up to their house at 3 in the afternoon, every light was off. The driveway was empty. I called Mom. No answer. I called Dad. Nothing. Finally, Brittany texted back, "We're at the Morrisons next door. Didn't think you'd make it." I sat in my car in their driveway for 20 minutes, keys dangling from my hand, feeling like a stranger. Like someone who'd shown up to the wrong house, the wrong family, the wrong life. I'd funded their lives, their debts, their repairs, even their anniversary trip to Napa Valley last spring, but I was always on the outside looking in. They called me when they needed a check, not when they were celebrating. My phone buzzes, jolting me back to the present. It's my cousin, Natalie Cross, 39, and a freelance investigative journalist who's never been afraid to ask the hard questions. "Morgan, are you okay?" Her voice is gentle but urgent. "I heard about the wedding." The dam breaks. Words pour out of me, the invitation, the fake date, Mom's casual dismissal. Everything. Natalie sighs, long and heavy. "I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but I think you need to know. They planned it, Morgan. All of it. Brittany specifically said she didn't want you there. She told Mom and Dad that you'd overshadow her, that everyone would talk about your job and your success instead of her wedding. Mom agreed. Dad just went along with it. They deliberately put the wrong date on your invitation." Each word is a knife sliding between my ribs. My little sister, the one I bailed out of financial disaster, thought I'd ruin her special day. And my parents, who'd taken my money without a second thought, backed her up. I pace my loft, the Phoenix skyline glittering through my floor-to-ceiling windows. Every memory stings differently now. Every snide comment about my fancy career, every time they forgot to include me, every casual cruelty I'd explained away. I'd been their bank, their safety net, their emergency fund. But I'd never been their equal. Never been truly wanted. Natalie's voice pulls me back. "What are you going to do?" I stop pacing. My reflection stares back at me from the dark window, a woman who spent years trying to buy love from people who were never going to give it freely. They think they can erase me from their perfect day. I say quietly. They're about to find out I'm not someone they can just use and discard. I'm done being their backup plan. "Good," Natalie says fiercely. "It's about damn time." The next morning, I drive to my parents' house in Scottsdale. My hands grip the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turn white. Natalie's words from last night echo in my head. They planned this, all of it, and fury burns through my veins like wildfire. I'm not here to cry or beg. I'm here to make them look me in the eye and admit what they did. I pull into their circular driveway, parking behind Dad's truck. The house looks exactly the same as always. Red tile roof, desert landscaping, the front porch where I used to sit and read on summer evenings before everything turned sour. Except now I know the foundation under that porch is solid because I paid to fix it. I march up to the door and bang on it. Hard. 3 sharp knocks that echo like gunshots. Mom opens it, her eyes widening. Morgan? What are you doing here so early? I push past her into the living room where Dad, Gerald Hartley, 63, sits in his leather recliner with the morning paper and coffee. My sister, Brittany, 29, is sprawled on the couch in her yoga pants, scrolling through her phone. They all freeze when they see my face. Why did you lie to keep me away from the wedding? I demand. My voice is steady, cold as steel. No tears. No shaking. Just fury, pure and controlled. Brittany's head snaps up, her eyes narrowing. Mom starts to speak. Morgan, let's not do this, but I cut her off with a raised hand. No. You sent me a fake date. You deliberately excluded me. I want to know why. The silence in the room is suffocating. Dad sets his coffee cup down slowly, carefully, like he's defusing a bomb. He won't look at me. Brittany tosses her phone onto the couch and sits up straight. There's no guilt in her expression, just irritation. Fine, she says, her voice dripping with defiance. You want the truth? I didn't want you there. You always have to be the center of attention. Your big tech job, your downtown loft, your confidence. It was my wedding, Morgan. Mine. Not yours. I deserved one day where people weren't talking about how successful you are. Her words slice through me. This is my baby sister, the girl I used to help with homework, the woman I saved from financial ruin. And she genuinely believes I would have stolen her spotlight. I gave you everything, I say, my voice low and controlled. When your business tanked and you were drowning in debt, who pulled you out? When you couldn't make payroll, who wired you $35,000 at 2 a.m? Brittany's face flushes, but she doesn't back down. And you never let me forget it, did you? You always held it over my head. I never mentioned it again after I sent the money, I say flatly. You're the one who couldn't stand feeling inferior. Mom steps between us, her face hard. Morgan, you need to calm down. You're so independent, so self-sufficient, it makes the rest of us feel inadequate. Brittany deserved to shine on her wedding day without being compared to you. The betrayal cuts deeper. My own mother, defending this manipulation. Blaming me for being successful, for building a life I'm proud of. I turn to Dad. He's still sitting there, staring at his newspaper like if he ignores me long enough, I'll disappear. Dad. You let this happen. You knew they were lying to me, and you said nothing. He shifts uncomfortably, his voice barely above a mumble. It's complicated, Morgan. It's not that simple. It is that simple, I snap. You either tell the truth or you lie. You chose to lie. Every moment I've been their safety net flashes through my mind. Every wire transfer, every check written, every crisis I solved while they took and took and took. Then they pushed me aside like I was nothing. Like I was disposable. My hands ball into fists at my sides, but I keep my voice level. Yelling won't change them. Nothing will change them. I'm done being your fallback, I say, looking directly at Brittany. Done being the person you call when you need money but exclude when you want to celebrate. Brittany leans back against the couch, arms crossed, a smirk playing at her lips. You're being dramatic. It was just one day. One day. I repeat, incredulous. You orchestrated a lie, got Mom and Dad to go along with it, and deliberately excluded me from one of the most important events of your life. That's not dramatic. That's calculated. Mom's voice softens, taking on that pleading tone I've heard 1,000 times. We're family, Morgan. Don't turn this into a war. But it already is a war. They drew the battle lines when they decided I was useful but not wanted. When they treated me like a resource to exploit rather than a daughter and sister to cherish. I look at each of them, Brittany's smug expression, Mom's forced calm, Dad's cowardice. There's no remorse here. No real apology. Just justification and deflection. I walk toward the door, my steps deliberate and final. This isn't over, I say, my hand on the doorknob. Brittany laughs, harsh and mocking. What are you going to do, Morgan? Make us pay. I pause, looking back at her over my shoulder. You already are paying. You just don't know it yet. Mom reaches out. Morgan, stay. Let's talk about this like adults. I don't look back again. I walk out into the bright Arizona sunlight, my mind crystal clear. They thought I'd cave like I always do, swallow the betrayal and come crawling back eventually. They're wrong. I built my career, my life, my entire existence without their support. They underestimated me, assuming I'd always be there to catch them when they fell. Now they're about to learn what happens when I let them fall. 2 days later, I'm in my corner office downtown, pulling out a file folder I haven't looked at in years. Yesterday's confrontation, Brittany's smug admission, Mom's defense, Dad's silence, has solidified my resolve. I'm not wallowing in self-pity. I have something my family never knew about, something that gives me real power. I spread the documents across my desk. Property deeds, purchase agreements, title transfers. My hands are steady as I reach for my phone and call Natalie. Nat, I need to tell you something, I say when she picks up. 6 years ago, Mom and Dad were in serious financial trouble. Medical bills from Dad's heart surgery, bad investments, credit card debt. They were about to lose their vacation property in Sedona, you know, that cabin in the Red Rocks they love so much. The one they're always posting pictures from. Natalie asks, disbelief creeping into her voice. That's the one. They were 30 days away from foreclosure. I bought it. $220,000, every penny from my savings and investment accounts. It's in my name, legally mine. I let them use it, thinking I was helping family. I never charged them rent, never asked them to contribute to property taxes or maintenance. Natalie's breath catches. Morgan, they've been renting that place out on Airbnb for the past 3 years. I've seen the listings. They're making serious money off it. My jaw tightens. Of course they are. I know. I've been paying property taxes on a place they're profiting from, and they never said a word about it. That's your asset, Natalie says fiercely. They've been using you for years, Morgan. You need to protect what's yours. Her words fuel something fierce inside me. This property isn't just real estate, it's leverage. It's power. It's my line in the sand. I hang up with Natalie and immediately dial Karen Torres, my attorney. She's 43, sharp as a razor, with a reputation for protecting her clients' interests no matter what. She arrives at my office within the hour, her briefcase clicking open on my conference table. Show me everything, she says, her dark eyes focused and intense. I slide the folder across to her. Deeds, contracts, proof of purchase, payment records. She flips through each page methodically, her expression neutral but focused. This is airtight, she finally says, holding up the property deed. You own this outright. No liens, no encumbrances, no co-signers. They have absolutely zero legal claim to this property. My shoulders relax slightly, though the tension doesn't fully leave. They act like it's theirs. They use it constantly, rent it out, make money from it. They've never acknowledged that I own it. Karen's eyes meet mine, unflinching and direct. Legally, they're tenants at will. You have every right to terminate their access, reclaim your property, even pursue compensation for the rental income they've collected. If you want to assert control, I can have documents prepared by tomorrow morning. Her confidence anchors me. I've spent years pouring money, time, and trust into people who used me and then discarded me when it suited them. This cabin is my leverage, my way to reclaim what's rightfully mine. Get the paperwork ready, I tell her. I want this ironclad. I want every legal protection in place. She nods, making notes. I'll draft everything tonight. Termination of tenancy, property access revocation, documentation for rental income collection. You'll have options. After Karen leaves, Natalie calls back. Morgan, I did some digging. Your sister's been hosting her high-end clients at that Sedona cabin, passing it off as a family's property. She's using it to project success and attract bigger contracts. My grip tightens on my phone. Brittany is using my property to prop up her struggling business, the same business I saved from collapse. The same sister who cut me out of her wedding because she thought I'd steal her spotlight. It's another slap, another layer of betrayal. She's going to find out the truth soon enough, I say, my voice low and hard. You're doing the right thing, Natalie says firmly. Don't let them guilt you into backing down. You've earned this boundary. I stand and walk to my office window. Phoenix spreads out below me, the afternoon sun turning the desert landscape golden. The city hums with life and possibility. That Sedona cabin isn't just brick and timber. It's my sacrifice. My late nights, my careful savings, my misplaced trust in people who never deserved it. Brittany's entitlement. Mom's excuses. Dad's complicit silence. They thought I'd keep giving, keep forgiving, keep playing the role of family ATM. They were wrong. I've built a successful career, a life I'm proud of, without their support or approval. These documents represent my power, my agency, my refusal to be used anymore. They pushed me out of their lives. Now I'm making sure they understand I'm not someone they can erase or exploit. The cabin is mine. The power is mine. And I'm not giving either up. One week later, I'm in Dennis Patel's office, signing a stack of papers that will sever every financial connection to my family. My attorney, Karen Torres, stands beside me, her presence a steady reminder that I'm doing what I should have done years ago, protecting myself. Dennis pushes another document toward me. He's 50, methodical, and has been my financial advisor since I started making real money in tech. This closes the joint checking account you opened with your parents 8 years ago, he says matter-of-factly. The $15,000 personal loan your sister took out under your name? We've transferred it entirely to Gerald and Diane Hartley. They're legally responsible now. You're completely removed. I sign each page without hesitation. That joint account was supposed to help my parents through a rough patch after Dad's heart surgery. It became a convenient way for them to drain money from me without asking. No more. My phone lights up with a text from Brittany. Morgan, I'm sorry. Can we please talk? I stare at the screen. Her words feel hollow, calculated. She schemed to exclude me from her wedding, laughed when I confronted her about it. Now that I'm pulling back support, suddenly she wants to talk. I set the phone face down and focus on the documents in front of me. Karen notices, her sharp eyes missing nothing. You don't owe her a response, she says quietly. Stay focused on protecting yourself. Her words ground me. Brittany's apology is too late, too convenient, too empty. Dennis turns to another document. This one is important, he says, pointing to a section highlighted in yellow. It locks your family out of your investment accounts, your savings, your retirement funds, everything. Your assets are completely protected now. They can't access them, can't claim them, can't touch them. His assurance feels like a fortress wall going up between me and their endless demands. For years, I paid their bills without question. I covered their mistakes. I handled property taxes on the Sedona cabin while they pocketed rental income. They'd been making $3,500 a month from that Airbnb listing while I paid every expense associated with owning the property. They took everything and gave nothing back except exclusion and contempt. Karen adds another document to the pile. The loan transfer is legally binding. If they miss payments, it's entirely their problem. You have no liability. I picture Brittany's smug face, Mom's practiced excuses, Dad's willful silence. They treated my generosity as their right, never once considering that I might stop giving. They're going to have to figure it out on their own, I say, my voice steady and final. Dennis stacks all the signed forms into a neat pile. You're completely financially independent from them now, Morgan. They have no access to your money, no claims on your assets, no leverage over you whatsoever. Another text from Brittany buzzes through. Please, I didn't mean to hurt you. Let's fix this. My fingers twitch toward the phone, but I don't pick it up. Her words are manipulation, not genuine remorse. She's scrambling because the money's gone, the safety net has disappeared. I flip the phone over again, letting Dennis's voice pull me back to the present. Your financial profile is completely secure, he continues. No shared liabilities, no joint obligations. Everything is solely in your name. A weight I've been carrying for nearly a decade begins to lift. I'd been their backup plan, their emergency fund, their personal bank. Every time they called, I answered. Every time they asked, I gave. Not anymore. Karen tucks her leather folio under her arm. If they try to challenge any of this legally, we have everything documented. You're protected on every front. I feel something settle inside me, a quiet, powerful certainty. My family counted on my generosity, my silence, my desperate need for their approval. They expected me to fold every single time. Every signature today is a refusal to let them define me anymore. As I leave Dennis's office with Karen, my phone buzzes again. Another message from Brittany. Morgan, don't shut us out like this. We're family. I delete the message without reading it fully. She thinks guilt will pull me back, that family obligation will make me reconsider. But I'm done. They used my property's rental income for their own profit while I paid taxes and maintenance. They took my money, my time, my loyalty, and treated me like a resource to exploit whenever convenient. Now, with every financial tie severed, I'm free to let them face the consequences of their own choices. The afternoon sun blazes as I walk to my car. My phone buzzes one more time. I don't even look at it. I'm not their safety net anymore. I'm not their fallback plan. I'm not their bank. I'm just Morgan, successful, independent, and finally free. 3 weeks pass. I'm home on a Saturday morning, coffee in hand, when Natalie calls with news about my family. Morgan, your sister's in trouble, she says without preamble. Brittany lost a major contract. $60,000. She and her husband, Troy, are scrambling to cover their bills. I lean back against my kitchen counter, unsurprised. Brittany's boutique marketing agency always operated on the edge of disaster, propped up by my financial support. Now that I've pulled that support away, reality is catching up to her. They're really feeling the pressure, Natalie continues. Troy's been reaching out to everyone he knows, trying to drum up new clients, but word's gotten around that Brittany's flaky. People aren't exactly lining up to work with her. I set my coffee down. There's a grim satisfaction in knowing they're facing consequences, but it's complicated by years of conditioning to help them. That afternoon, my phone rings. It's Troy Harper, Brittany's husband. 31, usually charming and easygoing. Morgan, he says, his voice heavy. I owe you an apology. A real one. I say nothing, letting silence do the work. I had no idea Brittany planned to exclude you from the wedding, he continues. She told me you couldn't make it because of a work trip. I didn't question it. I should have. I'm sorry. His sincerity catches me off guard, but it doesn't soften my resolve. Troy, you're married to her. You live with her. You didn't notice that something was off. He pauses. I should have questioned it. I should have called you myself. I'm sorry, Morgan. I really am. I don't respond. His regret might be genuine, but it changes nothing. They all benefited from my exclusion, even if he claims ignorance. Later that evening, an email arrives from Mom. Subject line, please, Morgan. I stare at her name in my inbox, my finger hovering over the delete button. Part of me wants to know what she has to say. Another part knows it'll just be more manipulation, more excuses, more blame directed at me for being too independent or too successful. I delete it without opening it. My phone rings again. This time it's Natalie, her voice tighter than before. There's something else you need to know. Your family's been talking about you around town. They're telling people you abandoned them, that you're selfish and put your career above family. My jaw clenches. What? They're spreading a narrative that you cut them off financially out of spite, that you're holding grudges over small misunderstandings. Some people are buying it. Others aren't. Fury rises in my chest, hot and sharp. After everything I've done, every debt I cleared, every crisis I solved, every sacrifice I made, they're painting me as the villain. People are starting to ask questions, Natalie adds. Some of our mutual friends have reached out to me, confused about what's really going on. The story's getting around. I pace my living room, anger battling with hurt. My family can't control me anymore, so they're trying to destroy my reputation. They're weaponizing the community against me. What are you going to do? Natalie asks. I stop pacing, staring out at the Phoenix skyline. The city glitters under the evening sky, indifferent to family drama and small-town gossip. Nothing, I finally say. Let them talk. Anyone who really knows me knows what I've done for them. Anyone who believes their lies without asking me directly isn't someone whose opinion I value anyway. That's strong, Natalie says approvingly. Don't let them shake you. But it does shake me, at least a little. The sting of betrayal cuts deeper knowing they're actively trying to damage my reputation to save their own. I think about the community, neighbors, colleagues, friends I've known for years. Some might believe the rumors. But others know my character, know my work ethic, know the truth about who I am. My family's words are noise, not truth. Another email notification pops up. Mom again. Subject: we need to talk. Delete. A text from Brittany. People are asking about us. What should I tell them? I turn my phone face down. They thought they could guilt me, smear me, manipulate me into caving. But I spent years building my life, my career, my reputation without their help or approval. Their lies won't undo that. Natalie's voice comes through the phone one more time. You're stronger than their gossip, Morgan. Keep your head up. Her support is everything. She reminds me I'm not alone, that choosing myself wasn't selfish, it was survival. I'll face the whispers with my head held high. My family sowed lies to protect themselves. Now they'll reap exactly what they deserve. A month after cutting ties, Paul Chen from Building Security calls my office. Ms. Hartley, you have visitors in the lobby. They're insisting they need to see you. My stomach drops. I know exactly who it is. I head downstairs to find Mom, Dad, and Natalie waiting by the reception desk. Mom's eyes are red and puffy. Dad looks exhausted, older somehow. Natalie stands slightly apart from them, her expression conflicted. Morgan, please, Mom says, her voice trembling. We need to talk. We're sorry. Can we fix this? I cross my arms, my face neutral. Their apologies feel performative, desperate. Too little, too late. Dad steps forward. We didn't mean to hurt you. Let's put this behind us and move forward as a family. I shake my head slowly. Their words are familiar, the same phrases they've used 100 times to smooth over problems without actually addressing them. Natalie meets my eyes. Morgan, they asked me to come. They thought maybe you'd listen if I was here. I trust Natalie more than anyone, but I'm not here to bend or break. I pull out my phone and open a video file, one Brittany accidentally sent me months ago. You all need to see this, I say, hitting play. The footage shows Brittany's wedding reception. She's laughing with guests, champagne glass raised high, and then she says it, clear as day, good thing Morgan's not here. She'd just make everything about her and her fancy tech career. This is MY Day. The guests around her laugh. The camera catches Mom in the background, smiling approvingly. Natalie's face drains of color. Her hand covers her mouth. She planned it, she whispers, turning to my parents. You both knew. You let this happen. Mom looks away. Dad stays silent, their guilt written plainly across their faces. Mom's voice cracks. Morgan, please. We're struggling financially. Can we at least stay in the Sedona cabin for a while? Just until we get back on our feet. I stare at her, incredulous. They've been renting out MY property for years, pocketing thousands in income while I paid every expense. Now, with their finances collapsing, they want to move in. No, I say flatly. That house is mine. You've taken enough. Natalie steps closer, her voice firm and protective. Morgan's right. You betrayed her, used her, excluded her, and now you're still asking for more. Her support strengthens my resolve. Mom's eyes well with tears. We're your family. Don't do this to us. But that word, family, means nothing coming from her. Family doesn't scheme. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't use you for years and then beg when it's convenient. Dad tries one more time, his tone softer, almost pleading. We can work this out, Morgan. We're sorry. I shake my head. The video still plays in my mind. Brittany's laugh, Mom's approving smile, the casual cruelty of their exclusion. You made your choices, I say quietly. Now live with them. I turn to Paul Chen, the security supervisor. Paul, please escort them out. He nods professionally and gestures toward the exit. Mom's voice rises, desperate and raw. "Morgan, don't shut us out. Please." But I'm already walking away, Natalie following close behind. In my office, she grips my arm gently. "You did the right thing. That video, it proves everything. They don't deserve your forgiveness." I nod, my chest tight with conflicting emotions. The community might keep whispering, believing their version of events. But I know the truth. They tried to break me, control me, use me as their personal ATM. I built my career, my life, my sense of self-worth without their approval. Their hollow apologies can't undo years of manipulation and betrayal. "I'm not their backup plan anymore," I say quietly. Natalie squeezes my arm. "No, you're not." Through my office window, I watch them leave the building. Mom's shoulders are slumped. Dad walks with his head down. They're facing a world without my safety net, without my money cushioning their every mistake. And for the first time in years, I feel truly free. 6 months pass like a long exhale I didn't know I'd been holding. I'm standing on the deck of my Sedona cabin, MY cabin, watching the red rocks glow in the late afternoon sun. The air smells like juniper and desert sage. A cool breeze wraps around me, carrying the kind of freedom that can only come from hard-won battles. My life belongs to me now. Shaped by my choices, unburdened by their endless demands. Work has been incredible. Last month, I was promoted to Vice President of Strategic Operations. The role came with challenges I've embraced fully, my confidence sharpened by everything I've been through. I lead a team of 35 people, oversee multi-million-dollar projects, and finally feel like I'm operating at my full potential. Natalie and Karen Torres have become my closest friends, people who value me for who I am, not what I can provide. We meet for dinner once a week, sharing wine and laughter and the kind of honest conversation I never had with my family. Last Thursday, Natalie raised her glass with that infectious grin of hers. "You're unstoppable, Morgan. Watching you reclaim your life has been inspiring." Karen nodded warmly. "You've built something they can never touch. Something real." Their words kindle something fierce in me, a reminder that choosing myself wasn't selfish. It was survival. Yesterday, an invitation arrived in the mail. My parents are hosting their 40th anniversary party. Betty and Diane Hartley, still maintaining their facade of perfection, want me to attend. I sent a small gift, a tasteful crystal vase with a polite card. Nothing more. A courteous gesture that costs me nothing emotionally. Their attempt to pull me back into their orbit failed. I spent years propping them up, only to be pushed aside when it suited them. That door is permanently closed now. Natalie filled me in on their situation last week over coffee. Brittany and Troy moved into a cramped apartment in a less desirable part of Phoenix. Brittany's marketing agency folded completely after she lost 3 more major contracts. Word got around about her unreliability, and clients stopped calling. Their social circle has shrunk dramatically. People who once flocked to their parties now keep their distance. Mom and Dad are facing their own reckoning. Their reputation in the community has taken serious hits. People eventually started asking questions, noticing inconsistencies in their stories about me. Some former friends discovered the truth about how they'd used me financially for years, then spread lies when I walked away. They had to sell their Scottsdale house, the one I'd paid $45,000 to repair. The real estate market helped them break even, but they're renting now, downsizing significantly. Without access to my Sedona cabin's rental income, without my financial support, without the safety net I provided for so long, they're discovering what it's like to live within their actual means. I lean against the deck railing, watching the shadows lengthen across the red rocks. Their choices had consequences. Real, lasting consequences. And I'm no longer there to catch them when they fall. Brittany tried calling 2 months ago. I let it go to voicemail. She left a long, rambling message about how sorry she was, how she'd been jealous and insecure, how she hoped we could rebuild our relationship someday. I deleted it without responding. Some bridges, once burned, aren't meant to be rebuilt. My phone buzzes with a text from Natalie. "Dinner tomorrow? New Thai place downtown?" I smile and text back, "Absolutely. 7 p.m.? This is my life now. Surrounded by people who lift me up instead of dragging me down. People who celebrate my successes instead of resenting them. People who value me as a person, not as a resource." The evening air cools as the sun dips toward the horizon. I pour myself a glass of wine and settle into one of the deck chairs I bought last month. Comfortable, expensive, mine. I spent so many years trying to buy love from people who were never going to give it freely. I poured my heart, my money, my time into a family that saw me as a means to an end. That was my mistake. One I'll never repeat. My career is thriving. My friendships are genuine. My home, this beautiful cabin in the Red Rocks, is a sanctuary I built for myself, not a tool for others to exploit. The sting of their betrayal still surfaces sometimes, usually late at night when I'm alone with my thoughts. But it no longer defines me. It no longer holds me captive. Natalie's laughter from our last conversation echoes in my mind. Karen's steady counsel anchors me when doubt creeps in. These are the voices I listen to now. My family chose their path: manipulation, lies, exploitation. They thought I'd always be there, always forgive, always provide. They were wrong. I chose myself, my worth, my peace, my future. And that choice brought me something they could never give me: freedom. As the Arizona sky turns deep purple and the first stars appear, I raise my wine glass to the empty deck, to the red rocks, to the vast desert sky. To everyone who's ever been used by the people they loved most, hear this: your worth isn't measured by what others take from you. It's measured by what you create for yourself. Don't let anyone dim your light to fuel their own. Stand firm. Set boundaries. Own your value. Let those who wrong you face their reckoning. I did. And it changed everything. Thank you for reading my story. If you've experienced something similar, know that you're not alone. Choose yourself. You deserve to be valued, not used. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and consider subscribing for more stories about finding strength in the hardest moments.